Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, ready to rock. We're talking about some bold theories, thoughts, maybe prayers involved too of Halloween ends. I got my man Steven from CRAVEN Something Scary. We're back at it because we just can't get
Yes.
enough live streaming, right? We just
Uh,
can't.
Apparently not, because this is our
Apparently
third
not.
stream today. Our third time we've been together on a live stream on one day. This is a record, I think.
You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Um, and let's see who we got in the chat and see what we got going on here. We got Maverick, what's going on? We got Patrick, what's going on? Val's in the chat.
There we
One of our
go.
channel members. Nice to see you, Val. Nice to see you. Denisha as well. Hey, Denisha. Denisha
What's up,
made it. All
Tanisha?
right. Nice to see you. Another one of our channel members. HR in the house.
What's up,
All right.
HR?
Beth, what's going on? Beth's in the chat. Nice to see you, Beth. Nice to
Miss
see you.
80s movies and music. I gotta check out that channel. I gotta check her channel out, man. That's
Beth,
right up my alley.
I'm telling you, Beth is amazing. If you have any liking of music, especially from that time period, Beth is the one to check out. She's just
Oh.
awesome, awesome, awesome lady.
All
Awesome,
right, Beth.
awesome.
I'm gonna check you out, Beth. I'm coming for you, or at least
There
for
you
your
go.
channel. I'm coming for
There
your
you go.
channel. Let me clarify.
All right. What's up, Jake? What's up, Jake? All right. Okay. And Byron's in the chat too. What's going on? Happy
What's up,
Michael
Byron?
Myers Monday. All
Oh,
right. All right.
could make that a thing.
Right?
Michael Myers Monday.
Wow. I don't know, man. Maybe. What's up,
Maybe.
Carrie?
What's up, Carrie? Good to see you again.
Halloween ends updates is in the chat. All
All
right.
right.
Wow. Okay.
Coming for the scoop.
Beth says, "Come on over."
Come
She's
on
too
over. All
funny.
right. Good deal.
She's awesome. All right. Oh, thanks, Denisha. Thanks, Beth. We appreciate that. I do too. All right. So, oh, we just got a couple more jumped in. Miss
Oh,
Carter
yep.
jumped in.
What's up,
All
Miss
right.
Carter?
Hey, Doomsday. What's up? All right.
What's happening?
He says, love the streams. Unfortunately, with these, I'm very careful because it can lead to spoilers, but be here to show support with the sound off. I'm going to tell you right now, Doomsday, everything we're talking about is definitely not spoilers. It's not anything
No.
confirmed because I'm definitely not into spoilers either. This
Mm-mm.
is, to be quite honest, and I know I have the stream titled as, bold theories and predictions. I mean, it's maybe even more of just a discussion because one, I wanted to have Steven jump on with me because we just enjoy talking Halloween and I knew it'd be a
Yeah.
fun conversation. But obviously, with ends coming up, there's a lot of thoughts that are coming out and things that we wanted to talk about. So, anyways, all
Yeah, no
right.
spoilers. This is a
Yeah,
spoiler-free zone on everyone in the collective. We all have
absolutely.
spoiler-free channels. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
in. Spoilers are horrible, man.
right?
You should never spoil something when if we know for sure
Mm-hmm.
that radio tower is the central key. I would
Yeah,
never talk about it. I would never
right?
talk about it. We'll get into that
Right?
later. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Oh, there it is. Look at
There it
that.
is.
There's the
Yep.
tower. Oh boy.
Yeah, we're going to
Night.
be getting
Now we
into
got
that.
lots to say about that soon. We'll
Woo.
get into that. But
Absolutely. And also, hey, thanks a lot, Jake, saying I just subscribed to your channel, Miss 80s. That is
hey,
awesome. Beth is a really cool content creator and an even better person. So thank you so much for doing that and supporting her. Um, so let's get into this, Stephen. Now, Halloween Ends is coming up. There's a lot of theories out there. We've been a part of some of that conversation. I guess what I want to ask you first is, with the movie coming out, are there any theories or thoughts that you have that you are hoping that will come true? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but as
that's okay.
usual, this is all conversation stuff.
It's just conversation. That's
Yeah.
right. It's you and I in our living rooms with our favorite beverage of choice. Mine happens to be ice water and
There
a
you
little bit of
go.
Coke Zero, so I can alternate depending on the question. See, some questions require caffeine,
There
and
you
that's why I've
go.
got my Coke Zero. Other questions, I can just grab the water. It's sufficient.
Hmm.
Okay, less brain power needed. Okay, so what I would love to see, right? That's what we're talking about now. The pros, the
Yes.
positives. Okay,
Hmm.
what I want to see is what I will call, and you're going to love this ambiguous statement, a fitting, perfect ending. to this trilogy. I
Mm-hmm.
am all about how we're going to end this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gotten two really good movies. We've got, in my opinion, we've got a great 2018, which I just watched again last week
Mm-hmm.
with over on Jack Stannis' channel. It was a watch along. It was a lot of fun, and we're doing it again on Wednesday. We're doing Kills Wednesday night, and
Nice.
it's been fun watching 2018. It's been a little bit, and since I've
Mm-hmm.
seen 18, I've seen Kills 3 or 4 times now, and
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you, this is completely off topic. Well, not off topic, but it's a little bit. After watching Kills for like let's say 4 times for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, look at that shot.
Yeah, baby.
Wow, look at that shot. Woo! Whenever I watched Halloween 18, 2018 last week, I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it so much more, and I already liked it. But
Mm-hmm.
having that fresh knowledge of Kills, you start to notice the little things that are like the nurse and the doctor at getting in their car to go to the bar.
Yes. Yes.
See,
Yep.
you
Mm-hmm.
pick up on that stuff, and I didn't notice, before seeing Kills.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to Kills. All right, I'm going to give a hot take. You ready? You ready? Hot
Yes.
night. This is hot.
That's what I want.
All right, everybody, buckle up. This is going to be like a hurricane force wind coming through your earbuds or your speakers. I really love Halloween Kills. How about that?
Yeah,
I
baby.
love it. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I don't care if I'm the only one in the room. I will defend that movie. I
Yeah.
love that movie. I enjoy it a whole lot. And again, I'm not to say it's free of criticism. I'm not
Sure.
saying that.
Mm-hmm.
There are things we can get to, but then we'll get to the negatives later. We're doing the positives. So, what I want to see, though, this is a very long-winded build-up to say this has to deliver. Night
Yes.
It has to deliver because you
It
can't build it up
does.
like these two movies have done to just leave us with a thud at the very end
Mm-hmm.
where it just falls flat.
Yep.
Thank you, HR. I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Glad I'm not alone. So, my that's my number one thing. Now you may say, okay, well, what is that? What is a fitting ending to this movie? Well, if you would have asked me 2 months ago, Night, I would have
Mm-hmm.
said Jamie Lee kills Michael and wins, and her and Allyson and Lindsay go off into the sunset, and Hawkins, in a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me now? Okay, I'm glad you did. So now, if you ask me now, here's what's going to happen. All right. Am I going too long here, bro? I feel like I've been talking
No.
for like a million hours here.
No.
Okay. All right. All
No.
right. All right. So, what I think the fitting ending is going to be, I think Halloween ends is the big question. Who does
Mm-hmm.
it end for? I think it ends for
Yes.
Laurie Strode. Night.
Okay.
I think Laurie will not make this movie, and I've been watching her some social media. Jamie Lee Curtis's social. Oh, look at her,
Mm-hmm.
so young and innocent. This in that movie,
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
seen her social media posts, her interviews, and I really believe, by all accounts, that she is going to die. This is her end,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that the final battle. Well, here's the thing: it'll either be her and Michael together in a final battle, which is what I'm hoping for, the epic ending,
Mm-hmm.
or she dies in a Dewey style death of five, Scream 5,
Yep.
and then Allison and Lindsay are left, and maybe even Hawkins are left to try to tackle and kill Michael.
Mm. Okay.
So I guess a fitting ending. And does Michael live or not? I don't. I wish that I told you my perfect ending is that he dies and Laurie lives, but I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
opposite. My Night. I think
Yeah.
Laurie dies and Michael lives. That's what I'm predicting now.
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of where I was going with it too, because I think if you ask the general fans, they want Lori to live. I mean, and don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, I do too. She's been
yeah,
through a hell of a lot, but when Jamie Lee Curtis said that the ending was going to upset fans, that
yeah.
immediately, for me anyways, unless she's
Hmm.
trolling us, right? And I want to say this right now because I've had a lot of comments on my Halloween Ends videos recently. This is all speculation, just discussion for the fun of it. My opinion, and I'm sure Stephen would agree with his, it's not the right opinion. It's not
Hmm.
the wrong opinion.
Exactly.
It's just our personal opinion. But as soon as
Yep.
she said that, to me, her living was off the table. You know
Me
what I'm
too.
saying? So I
Yep.
think she's gonna die too. I think it'll be a sacrifice type of death.
Hmm.
Hey, what's going on, Lamar? Um,
Hey.
I think it's going to be a sacrifice. And I also think Allison's going to be involved with it too. I think Allison is going to do a lot of damage to Michael, and then something like maybe she saves Laurie, and then maybe it looks like she's going to get the killing blow or whatever, and then something happens where she can't, and Laurie sacrifices herself to save her granddaughter. That's kind of my. If you ask me to put money on it, that's how I
Mm-hmm.
think it's going to go down. Now,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and I know some people like my man Eric in the chat who is saying the 4 words, it's all a dream. You guys know what's up. I've been talking about this dream catcher theory, which
Mm-hmm.
has really started to intrigue me more and more and more, because if Michael lives, which is what I was kind of getting from Jamie Lee Curtis's thing. Again, as long as
Yeah.
she's not trolling us, I'm assuming she wasn't trolling us. If Michael lives, and then we're inevitably going to do more Halloween movies, again,
Mm-hmm.
3 years, 5 years, 10 years, it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Really, the only thing you can do is to restart a timeline, a new timeline. Because
Mm-hmm.
Michael Myers is 65, 67 in this movie or
Whew.
whatever. So you can't
Yes.
just listen, he can't just keep going on as an old man. I mean, that's just
Right.
logistics, right? So
True.
they're gonna restart the timeline. Do we want to have a sixth timeline? We've got five right now. We've got five. And,
Wow.
and again, like I said in my videos, there's some people that don't care about that, and I get it. Me personally, I'm still gonna watch them. It didn't kill me to know that there's different timelines and a lot of inconsistencies and wacky ass shit. It didn't kill me as a fan. But I think one way that you can answer multiple questions is
Mm-hmm.
to do this dream catcher theory, because number one, it doesn't matter if Laurie dies in this movie. You could just take the movie as it is.
Yep.
She wakes up from the dream, and I also have a twist to that too. I'll talk about in a little bit. But she
Okay.
wakes up from the dream. It's back to 1978. She survived a night of trauma, and she can go off into the sunset. She's free, free of the story, which we know Jamie Lee Curtis is probably not going to portray this character again. I'm thinking that's
Yeah.
almost a definite, right? So
I think so.
Yeah, so Laurie Strode is off the table. Michael Myers is young.
Okay.
He's the shape. He's on the loose, and when they restart the Halloween movies, they can do whatever they want, and it's almost
Yep.
like you've given birth to this 50-year-old franchise again, to start with a clean slate. Now,
Yeah.
again, it's very controversial. I get it. Some people
Right.
say it's lazy as hell. I get
Yeah.
it.
I've seen
I
that a
get
lot.
it. I get it. I get it. But as far as I know, and you guys correct me, we've never used this quote unquote tool to fix a 50-year-old franchise with 5 different timelines, countless versions of Laurie Strode, multiple children, multiple ways that Michael was depicted,
Mm-hmm.
inconsistencies on whether he's a man or more. So I'm just
Yep.
saying, you can talk about Dallas, you can talk about Roseanne, you can talk about Saint Elsewhere, and any other show or whatever that has done it. Sci-fi stuff doesn't count because this is horror, not sci-fi. So I'm just saying it's a way that you can achieve multiple things. And the whole reset of the franchise isn't necessarily for the movie, the characters in the movie. It's more for just the franchise, people that watch the franchise, us. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
a nod, a super nod. That's the ultimate nod to us. Because I think a lot of people do cite the inconsistencies as an issue. And out of the major three, I know I'm rambling, but I'm sorry.
No,
But
go. You're good, man.
out of the major three franchises, the horror franchises, Michael, Freddy, and Jason, this one has the most inconsistency and wacky shit going on.
You know, we got a troll in the chat here, man. This killjoy Jake sucker here. What's going on here, man? What's up with that, killjoy Jake? Who come
What's
trolling into
up?
our conversation here? Halloween kills sucked though. Fate.
Fate. What's up, Jake?
Hey Jake, that's awesome.
But I mean,
Yeah, man.
seriously,
No, you're right. Yeah.
and like I said, and this gives a way that Laurie Strode is able, because again,
Mm-hmm.
when we restart the franchise, which will happen, if there's anything I'm going to guarantee, is that this is not the last time we will ever see Michael Myers again. And I think
100%.
and I think people that even people that don't like the theory, the Dreamcatcher theory, they can at least agree on that. So when we restart it, Michael is free. Michael doesn't have to even stay in Haddonfield. He can go anywhere. He doesn't
Hmm.
have to worry about Laurie Strode. He doesn't have to worry about Dr. Loomis because we've separated them, So that's my pitch.
All right, so can we play devil's advocate with each other tonight? Kind of,
Yeah.
because part of strengthening our theories is addressing the issues that could possibly like poke holes in them, right? We want to iron
Yes.
sharpens iron, right? That's what we're here to
That's
do.
right. Yep.
So here, and this is an objection, not or I don't know really call it an objection, just an obstacle more than an objection to the theory that I've seen today on my channel because I posted that video
Mm-hmm.
inspired by you to talk about this dream theory.
Yeah.
Got an incredible amount of credible response to the video,
Mm-hmm.
but and a lot of great comments. But Valerie touched on one here, just to make her Val did. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Valerie, it's Val. Val just
Yes.
touched on one of them here at 6 o'clock, and this is and the way I heard it earlier on one of my video, a comment came through that says, "What about the issue that the current the current trilogy?" I'm getting my brain together.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I need the caffeine boost. I'm good now. That's all I needed. Okay, so the trilogy that we're currently in
Mm-hmm.
is ignoring the sequels.
Right.
It's
Yes.
not acknowledging them as canon.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so this objection was getting me like, well, how can that work
Mm-hmm.
if because they're already not
Ignored.
recognizing them as even being real?
Yeah.
And my response, and I want to get, and I, you and I've never asked each other this question, so I'm really
Yep.
curious in a minute to hear what your response is because my thought, and Val brought it up here again on her comment here at 6 p.m. where she talks about we have to remember that 18 timeline, H2 resurrection, and all those don't exist. So my thought of it is like this: that they dreams don't have autonomy. Dreams don't have intelligence. In other words, if you're in a dream today, let's say you're having a dream right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That dream is not going to have awareness of previous dreams. A
Yeah.
dream is a
Right.
dream,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my argument, if you want to call it that, or my response to that is, I view it like if they almost have to be ignoring the previous timeline because that to me sells a dream theory.
Exactly.
Because if you acknowledge the timeline, that doesn't seem right. Because
Right.
then you're acknowledging that dreams build upon one another, and you get into some wacky stuff now out
Yeah.
there stuff.
Yep.
So I think it actually makes the argument stronger, Knight, that
Yeah.
they have not acknowledged those sequels because
Right.
those sequels didn't happen because
Mm-hmm.
they're dreams, and we're going to find out at the end of this. Guess what? 2018 didn't happen either. Neither did Kills. All
Mm-hmm.
these are dreams that her brain is
Yes.
just imagining happening as she's asleep in this coma state
Mm-hmm.
or what
Yeah.
have you.
Yep.
So that's my response. Now, what would you say, Knight? What would your response be to that argument that it's ignoring them?
I would definitely echo what you said because again, you don't want to let that out of the bag. You don't want to
Yep.
you don't want to acknowledge them because it wouldn't hit for you. It wouldn't hit for the
Yes.
audience. But the other thing too is now we talked about, or at least in my video, I talked about this because I wanted to put it out there and see what people thought. And I saw what
Mm-hmm.
people thought, and it's a lot of people on both sides of the fence. But I never talked about specifics in it, And I think one of my viewers were talking about some specifics and was like jumping ahead of me. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to do a video on that too. But when we realize it's a dream, you could have a bunch of cool things going on. You could have
Yep.
Loomis in the background, talking about, what is she, what's going on with her. And, you could have the doctor or the nurse say, well, she's been talking about, her daughter and then she was talking about a son. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so almost these little nods to these movies.
Yeah.
You don't have to, get super specific about it, but you know, she could say something
Hmm.
like, yeah, her daughter Jamie, and she has a son John, and you know, all these types of things. So you could really tell that she was traumatized, and that's what was going on in her head. All these things that have happened now. And I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense what I
Hmm.
said, Stephen.
It does.
Let me know if I don't make
No,
sense,
I'm
because
tracking with you,
yeah, because it's
100%.
a lot of stuff. Now, here's another thing that some people have talked about is that a dream theory will lessen the strength of this new trilogy, you know, because
Hmm.
obviously it didn't happen. I understand that and I get it. But again, to me, I think the possible positives can outweigh all of this. You know what I'm saying? As far as taking this franchise back to a simpler time, cleaning the slate, getting rid of all the inconsistencies, and hopefully the idea is if they well, when they move forward with a new Michael Myers
Hmm.
movie, that they're going to be better about consistencies, including the damn mask. Make
Oh
sure the mask
gosh,
looks right. You know,
please.
I know I'm nitpicking, but make sure the mask looks right.
Ah,
Make sure that nobody's using kung fu on him. You know, that type of stuff. You know,
yes,
little
come on,
things.
man. Little things
Little
like that, but
things.
they matter. Okay, so let me ask you a question, Knight. If this dream theory actually happens,
Hmm.
how will it affect you, or will it, I should say, will it affect you at all, either positive, negative, or not at all, when you rewatch the sequels? Because that's
Yeah,
my biggest, and I'm probably jumping ahead here to the
that's okay.
things we, but my biggest concern of this theory, because
Hmm.
I am on the fence. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, and I'm not going to be like Killjoy Jake, who may or may not still be here, who is now backtracking on the stew train, where he once said he was. You know what? I was so stewed out earlier. I was glad to let it go. I was like, but
Right.
I could bring it up. Somebody, I think Carrie brought it up in the chat, but he was in the caboose firmly. Now he's got one
He
foot out.
was.
I'm like, what are you
Right.
doing? Where I go, what are you doing? But no, seriously though, man, I'm on the fence with this theory. I have one leg in and one leg out, because
Hmm.
as much as I like the idea of being able to say, okay, all those things I don't like about these other sequels,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because it makes sense now. It actually makes sense that it's not perfect.
Right.
It kind of makes
Right.
it though. But here's my problem, and that's why I want to ask you that question. Because
Hmm.
my biggest concern is that when I rewatch 4 and
Hmm.
H2O and some of these other ones that I still enjoy in the new
Hmm.
trilogy,
Yeah.
I'm concerned that I'm gonna lose all of the
The-
vested
Yeah.
weightiness to these characters. Like,
Yeah.
if they die, it doesn't matter because
Right.
they aren't even real in that
Yeah.
universe. It's just they're just an imaginary
Yeah.
dream, right?
Well,
How would you feel, man, watching them again?
Well, I personally, it wouldn't affect me in that way
Okay.
because we're always going to have those movies. And it's very similar. And again, I know it's a different genre, but we've seen this type of thing like in the Terminator franchise. You know, Sarah
Mm.
Connor was dead in the third Terminator movie, right? But
Yep.
all of a sudden, she comes back in the fifth movie, played by a different actress. And then she came back again in a different way, played by Linda again in part six. So, in other words, as I watched all those movies, that didn't bother me. You know, granted, with
Okay.
something like that, it's sci-fi, so time travel and multiple
Yeah.
realities is the way they explain it. But
Yeah.
so as a fan, I'm conditioned to be able to deal with that. You know, they did the same thing like with the X-Men franchise. You know, when they did X-Men Days of Future Past, that retconned a whole bunch of stuff. We see that with superhero movies, and so
Yeah.
anyways. So for me, it wouldn't bother me like that if it were to happen. And again, I've said this a couple times. I don't know if they would do it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to give Val some credit. She said, "Okay, with these explanations, I could roll with the dream thing." Thanks
Hey.
a lot. Um,
Nice. It's all right.
but but I don't know if they would do it because it is a huge risk.
Oh
I,
boy.
I don't know if they will do this. I'm just throwing it out there because again, I'm totally going off of Jamie Lee Curtis when she said
Yeah.
people are going to be pissed. That's totally what I'm going
Yep.
off of. Now,
Hmm.
the other way it could go, and I do have a twist to the dream theory. Hopefully I'll circle back to that. But the other way that it could go, she's saying they're gonna be pissed. So to me, that means that Laurie will die and Michael lives and kind of walks off into the
Hmm.
sunset. Right.
Yep. Yep.
Now, the other way it could go is that she kills Michael and she walks off into the sunset. Personally speaking, I don't see that. I'd
No.
like to see that because to me that would be a
Yeah.
definitive end.
Yep.
But I don't see them doing that. And partially the reason for that is because that's what they did in H2O.
Yeah,
She
man.
she chopped off his head. Of course, it was fake Michael and all that type of stuff, and we know how that story goes. But I don't see them doing that again because it's going to have a
Yeah.
similar beats. And
Yep.
again, if she definitively kills him when they restart the franchise, we're going to have a sixth timeline. So again,
Man.
that's I'm just trying to show how I've arrived to this point. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I just think that everything stems from what Jamie Lee Curtis said,
I do
you know.
too.
And
Yeah.
there's been times even in this trilogy where things kind of, I don't want to say they didn't add up, but some things
Hmm.
were just kind of like, I wonder what's going on here. Obviously, the Michael versus the world scene at the end of Kills. I mean, we love it, but again, you know, gosh, man, he was doing a lot of things that he's
Got to be
more
more
than a
than human.
man.
Has to be night.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
he got his ass whooped.
Hmm.
He got stabbed. I mean, it's like how did he keep going
Yep.
if he is just a man, which is what David Gordon Green has said from the beginning. He's a man, you know. Now again, maybe David Gordon Green was trolling us.
Yep.
That makes this a whole different conversation. I'm just going by what these people, have said and going by the fact that I'm believing what they say. So when you think about scenes like that, it's like, well, a dream could explain that. That's
Could.
how that's how he could keep doing what the hell he's doing. So again, that's where I'm coming from there.
Yeah. So I guess then, if it's not a dream,
Hmm.
then well, we'll have to see what happens in Kills ends because
Yes.
it goes back to that. He's definitely you can't do what he did in most of these movies
Right.
and not be more than a man. And most every Halloween, even whatever sequel
Exactly.
you're talking about, right? Even the
Hmm.
original. So he's the boogeyman, and he's the shape. So my question is, and we'll see what they do, like how they end it.
Hmm.
But if he, because they're going to have some kind of an epic battle. I mean, I know that
Yes.
this is supposed to be more. They've said intimate or whatever,
Yeah.
but this,
Contained.
yeah, exactly. More of a kind of maybe dialed it down a little bit from Kills, which was really
Hmm.
amped way up on the violence and stuff, which was it was
Yes.
great movie.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. We saw him survive that.
Hmm.
If it's not a dream, we saw him survive that. So
Hmm.
I mean, they're gonna. He has to live, right? I mean, I don't know how he can
Right.
die. I just don't. Unless we've said it before, unless you start yanking limbs off. I mean,
Yep.
like literally sawing off his legs and his
Yep.
arms and taking his mask off. Oh,
Or if he takes a
night.
fall.
If he takes a fall from the top of the radio tower,
King
we
Kong style, baby.
King Kong style. That's what I can't get that out of my head. I can't. I just see King Kong on and the planes flying
Yes.
around him. That's all I
Yeah.
see, and I'm like, no, don't, no. So
Ah.
I'll say this, man. I'll say it like this: if he
What's up, Dark
lives,
Ninja?
hey, what's up, Ninja? If he survives this movie,
Yes.
I just don't want to see them show us how he survives the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want it
Hmm.
to be like we don't know. There's no way he's a human, or there's no way he's fully human because this guy's got something going on that's keeping his life source active. Because
Hmm.
you can't
Hmm.
take shots. You can't take shot him six. No. You night. You're
I
please.
shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you. That was awesome. You can't do that kind of stuff and walk
Yes.
away. It's not
Right.
normal.
Yeah.
Something has to be happening in your body to sustain it or heal it. So
Yes.
and listen, I'm perfectly reserved. I'm fine with it being supernatural. I've never had a problem with it, my
Hmm.
night.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, I've never had a problem where people say, "Oh, you can't do that. No one can do that." Well, duh. That's the
Yeah.
point. He's
Right.
not normal. He's not like you and me. That's what makes him scary. If it's like
Yes.
you and me, it's not as scary.
Hmm.
Like
Yep.
even Ghostface. Look, I love it. Scream's my favorite franchise, but I
Hmm.
could take out my buddy Mr. Smith and my other buddy, Mr. Wesson, and that buck 120 ain't gonna cut it. No pun intended. All
Right.
right, so and I don't have to worry about that person. Well, of course, they always come back for one last scare, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not,
That's right.
but when you bring Michael Myers in the house, I can unload Mr. Smith and Wesson, and he's still walking.
Hmm.
That's another level. I don't want any part of that.
Right.
So, I guess my point is, man, please don't tell us how. Don't I don't want it. What I
Yeah.
don't want to see is this radio tower, man.
Hmm.
And I just have these nightmare issues, not issues, but these nightmare images. And you ready for it, Night? Now, join in, because I'm going to sing a whole verse and a chorus. One, you ready? Because throw up that tower, Night. Let's look at that tower. So here's what I picture seeing. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Oh,
Man.
no. Bro,
Yeah.
if we go there, Night, I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna be so
Yeah.
upset. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
I'm never watching this. I'll watch ends. I mean, I'll watch kills and I'll watch
Yeah.
18, and that's it. So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think, with the whole idea of the radio tower thing, I think that that would absolutely
oh,
I can't like I said, I can imagine how this dream thing could work and make sense. And I can imagine a way that they could execute it in a very, very good way. But with the radio tower thing, controlling Michael Myers either by the
mm,
mask or the radio waves
mm-hmm.
into his brains and all that type of stuff, I just don't see how that could be explained, right? And again, I don't want to get into explanations of Michael. I've said this before. I'm going to say it
Yes,
again. Anytime we get into explanations of these characters, speaking specifically about the Trinity, whether
mm-hmm.
it's Freddy's dead, or the Curse of Michael Myers, or Jason Goes to Hell, or even Hellraiser 4, when you're trying to explain these characters, you usually walk into dark territory. You get into trouble
Yeah,
because you're gonna have these huge plot holes, and you got to make up new stuff, especially with like Freddy's Dead and Jason Goes to Hell. They were making up stuff on the fly.
oh yeah,
Adam
man.
Adam Marcus, who directed Jason Goes to Hell, this is what he was doing. He was just throwing stuff
It's
at the
just,
wall, seeing what was gonna
oh
stick.
man,
And
it's
it and it
awful.
and it didn't work
No,
for the majority. Some things were good, and you see what they were trying to do. But anyways, so I don't think they should try to explain Michael at all. They should just, like I said, I think Laurie's gonna do a sacrifice kill,
yep,
and then at the end of the movie, that's the other thing I didn't say earlier. At the end of the
mm,
movie, there will be some type of hint or clue that he's living on. Kind of like at the end of the
yeah,
original. We didn't
yeah,
see what happened to him. He did get up, but hell, he could have bled out 10 feet further down the road. We don't know
true.
that. All we saw
Yep,
were the places that he inhabited in the movie, and we heard
mm-hmm.
some breathing. Cut. And that's all that
That's it.
Carpenter ever wanted. He wanted you to wonder, is the shape out there? When I'm walking down that suburban street, could
Uh-huh.
he be coming after me? We didn't
Yep.
know. And that's exactly what he wanted. And like I said, this trilogy, if we do the dream thing, that we can end it like that. We can end it like that he's still out there. And Miss Carter brought up a good question I want to answer with this. She says, technically, for the dream theory to work, you'd have to go back to the OG movie. Laurie could not be in the hospital according to 2018. Halloween 2 does not exist. Exactly. I'm saying that when we find out this is a dream thing, this is totally, from 78. She could literally be when she says that last part. Let me just pull up this image again. When she's talking to Loomis and she says, it was the boogeyman, and he says, as a matter of fact, it was. She could freaking faint. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And and
Mm-hmm.
and, and we could boom go from there or whatever. Obviously we'd have to clean that up, but you get what I mean. We won't
Yeah.
go back to those specific scenes in Halloween 2 because they don't exist.
Mm-mm.
So just to answer that, Miss Carter. But here's the other thing too, and someone had mentioned this, and so this is the first time I'm going to say it on the channel, and this is a twist on the dream catcher theory. Okay, at the end of ends, when everything happens or whatever, what if instead of Laurie having this dream, what if these are visions in Michael's head? Okay, what if
Mm.
this is Michael's doing, or things
Mm-hmm.
that he sees or his visions or whatever? Because again, Michael, listen, one thing that we know is that Michael does a whole hell of a lot of staring. He's staring out of
He
windows.
does.
He's and we've seen that throughout the whole damn franchise, or at least in the first two movies too. So what
Yeah.
if all of this is actually in Michael's head?
Oh
You know,
my
so that
gosh.
now and again, I'm not saying it's
Wow.
going to happen. I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just the
Interesting.
messenger. I'm just the messenger. Now, because we
Wow.
see that he's staring out the window, and I might call this uh the reverse dream catcher, but anyways, so you guys heard it here first. But seriously, we see the fact that he is just staring. Something is going on, and I don't want to believe that it's a radio tower beckoning him and all that shit, or like we saw in the Curse of Michael Myers,
Mhm.
magic stones. I don't want to believe
Yep.
that. But if he is truly that, what do I want to say? I don't know, obsessed, or
Obsessed.
whatever. He's consumed
Focused
by
and yeah.
evil or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe those are things that are going through his mind. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So that's a twist on it.
So maybe the end of ends. It's not Jamie Lee in a hospital room. It's Michael Myers in the Ascend Smith's Grove at
That's right.
65 years old,
Could be.
and
Yep.
or whatever age, and
Yep. It could be any
he's
age. Good
any
point.
age, doesn't matter. Yeah, he could
Hmm.
be any age, and it shows him as and like they're waking him up or something. Like all of a sudden you see his eyes open up,
Yeah.
or however you want to do it, and to basically to show us the audience that that was all his thoughts or his
Yep.
all his vision. That's
Yep.
different, man. That's definitely a different way to look at it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
mean,
again, if you're
yeah.
going to do that, you can get away with all the whatever may happen. If it, let's say, look, a season of the witch happened. All right,
Hmm.
that is a television raves with masks on that are making worms come out of your head. All right,
Yes.
so if you're considering that's part of this universe, we're talking about sequels. Why couldn't the radio tower be controlling Michael or controlling something? And
Hmm.
then with this, even if it's not directly Silver Shamrock, but let's just
Yes.
say whatever. If you're going to call it a vision or a dream, all of that
Hmm.
stuff is on the table
Yeah.
because nothing is out of bounds or ludicrous if you're dreaming. Anything
Hmm.
could happen.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean, it's something to think about. And I agree with you, Joel. I'm cool with whatever they're gonna do because they have resurrected this franchise for me.
yeah.
I've been a fan of the franchise, but and I've said this when we went through our series review. I kind of took a little bit of a break because the last couple of sequels were kind of hot and cold for me. The Rob Zombie movies,
Mm,
obviously Resurrection. So I was kind of hanging in the background. But for a long time, I was really strong with the franchise as far as liking what they were doing, even if it was inconsistent. You know what I mean? But these new movies have really brought me back strong as a fan. So I agree. Whatever they do,
yeah.
I'm cool with it. Miss Carter does not like the idea of it being Michael's visions. That's okay.
It's all
That's all
right.
right. But again, and this is a good point from Byron. He's 65 years old. So at some point,
Yeah.
if we're going to continue doing movies with him, he's got to get younger. Now, there's
He's
only
got
two.
to.
There's only two ways that it can happen. You start a new timeline, which would be the sixth timeline in this franchise, or you do something like it's visions or a dream. We can't do magic because it's
Yeah.
the real world, so we can't use magic. But he's got to get younger. Or there is another option. This just
Okay.
came to my head, and people have talked about this as a theory. I totally don't think they'll do it, but he passes the evil on
Yes.
to
That's what I was
someone
about to
else.
say. Yes. That's what I was about to say.
Someone else, namely Allison or whatever. And
Allison.
you know what I say to that, Stephen? That's what I say to that
Oh,
is
that's right. Yep.
because they thought about doing that. Granted, Daniel Harris was a little girl and Andy Manichak is a woman, but
Yeah.
I just don't think that they would do it because then you don't have Michael Myers. Michael
But let
Myers
me.
is the show.
Well, I agree, and I'm going to ask you something here, and this is not. I'm not trying to get too into social commentary, political, woke, whatever adjective you
Yeah.
want to use, but
Hmm.
I think it's worth at least discussing it. Okay,
Hmm.
in the day and age that we're in, we're seeing a lot of things like Fantasy Island, the TV show. they revised it. I don't know if you noticed, if you knew it or not. It's on Fox. They brought it back. I haven't watched it,
No,
but
I
they've
haven't
brought
watched
it
it.
back. Well, the host of Fantasy Island, remember, used to be help
Ricardo
me out.
Montalban.
Thank you. Yes,
Hmm.
brilliant actor. Loved him.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, I was a big fan of him growing up.
Yep.
So, but
Hmm.
now they've replaced it with a woman who's now in charge of Fantasy Island,
Hmm.
and we see this happen quite a bit. And I have nothing per se against any of that. That's not what I'm talking about. But I
Right.
bring this up to say, do you think we live in the age and climate we're in
Hmm.
that they would actually pass on the evil to a female, that Michael Myers now would be this Michelle Myers or some other kind of incarnation?
Hmm.
And I don't know. It seems to me if that was ever going to happen,
Hmm.
we're living in the time it could happen in.
Yeah, you're right. This would be the time that it could happen. I don't know if they would do it. Again, and I know we always say this, but it is true. Execution is everything.
Hmm.
And if they did it in a way that really worked for me, I could be on board with it. If it's going to be Andy Matichak,
Hmm.
there's a lot of interesting things that you could do with it, and I think she's got a really great career ahead of her. If things work out for her the right way. So it could be interesting, if it's Allison that the evil is passed on to, because I really can't imagine who else it would be. Or it could be a new
Yeah,
character. It
it could
could
be
be a
all
new
new
character.
character.
But then
Could.
again, it's almost like, well, there's no connection to a new
Right.
character. We'd have to build that character up in this movie so we give a damn.
Yeah,
So
because Michael, if Michael's passing it on, you
yes,
have to keep it as Andy.
right, yeah,
Because unless you're introducing a new character in this at the very end, like this is going to be the new, like Sam
right,
Carpenter kind of thing. But
right,
if
right.
if they had introduced Sam at the end of Scream 4, let's just say back in the
Hmm.
day, but if you don't do that, you're pigeonholed into
That's
whoever
right.
it passed, unless you I'm going to say Scream 6, unless you end Halloween Ends where Michael's mask is laying on the ground, let's just say, and you
Hmm.
see a woman's hand. You don't
Hmm.
see who it is. Maybe
Hmm.
it's from behind. You see them
Hmm.
reaching down, and they look at the mask, and you're seeing the back of their head. They
Yes,
put the mask on, and you don't know who it is,
right.
other than it's a woman.
Hmm.
And the woman turns around, and she's got the mask on in credits,
Yeah,
so that they could literally bring anybody they wanted to into the next movie. Uh, that's a possible way to do it. But you know how
yeah,
Hollywood is, man.
yeah.
They could come out and retcon, not retcon, but they could ignore basically, essentially, what happened at the end of Ends
Oh
and
yeah.
start an anthology where they have a
Yep.
female character who finds this mask, and when she
Hmm.
puts it on, she turns into this other person.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when the mask comes off, she goes back to being in high school and being her
Now,
normal self.
now, it's funny because one thing I was thinking too that was a little bit of a twist on that is that if it's Allison,
Hmm.
okay, and the evil is passed on to her, and we did see um a little bit of winks to that because at the end of 2018, when she had that knife and they zoomed in on the knife, I'm not gonna lie, man, in Kills, I thought that she was gonna have some stuff going on. You know
Me
what I'm
too.
saying?
Yep.
Because I thought that's what they were setting it up for. And who knows? Maybe that was the long game. You get what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Maybe it was the long game. Again, I wouldn't be upset with it because I really like her character. And what if they do something that's along the lines of Norman Bates? Right? Where the
Yes.
evil passes on to Allison and she's not in control. She has like split
Hmm.
personality, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she struggles with it. That could be a huge psychological thing going on, and it would
Could.
give Andy Matichak a bunch of stuff to work with as an
It would.
actress. You know what I'm
Because she could
saying?
have moments where she's composed and she's
Yes.
completely normal.
Yes.
Like Bates was completely normal
Yep.
sometimes, you
Yep.
know? And like I say, if you place it where she's in high school or college or even, she
Hmm.
could be going to classes and then all of a sudden she starts to shake or get a tremor. There's some kind
Hmm.
of thing where she's got to get out of there because she knows if she doesn't, then, bad things can happen. And then she can
Yeah.
wake up the next morning and they find out there's been people killed
That's right.
across town and she has no recollection of it at
That's
all.
right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Dude, I think
And
we need to write the movie. What's up? We need to have some screenplay meetings here. Let's start working on
right?
this, man.
It's possible, man. Miss Carter is
Yeah.
saying, are we talking about like how in Child's Play when Chucky transfers his soul into a doll? No, nothing that overt like that. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
more that it's implied, just like I said at the end of 2018, when she basically saved
Mm-hmm.
Laurie and Karen by stabbing Michael, and
Yep.
she was clutching that knife at the end, and the camera kind of zoomed in on the knife. To me, they were implying the possibility of her being damaged from there on out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't follow up on that yet, but
Yet.
this whole idea of passing the evil could be something very subtle, just like that, and then they leave it totally open ended. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And obviously, all of us fans will be speculating for whatever amount of years before they restart the series. But the other thing too is, if they do this reset, okay, and with the dream or Michael's visions or whatever, there's
Mm-hmm.
another possibility as well, Stephen. And I
Okay.
haven't talked I haven't talked about this, but obviously now you've cleaned the slate, right? You clean the slate. But what if the next time we see quote unquote Halloween, and it will be called Halloween, what if it's an anthology
Mm-hmm.
just like Carpenter wanted to do with Season of the Witch,
Mm-hmm.
which failed miserably because
Yeah.
people, and it's just my opinion, but people, including myself, were not open-minded enough to the movie. I hated
Yep.
that movie for years, and then one
Yep.
day when I was in my late teens, I decided to give it a chance, and now it's one of my favorite movies in the franchise. That's
It's
just me.
it's yeah, man.
Yeah.
Totally.
So if they reset things, we could get an anthology thing. We could sprinkle in Michael if we wanted to, or maybe do an anthology movie and then a Michael movie, then an anthology. We could flip back and we could do, in other words, we could do anything.
Yep.
And if they did it, to me, and someone in my comments, I mean, everyone's got their opinion, but he literally said the opposite of what I'm about to say. But I think this is what John Carpenter, this is a way to honor him in a cool way, to basically say, you're the OG. You always wanted this to be simplified. You also wanted to try to do an anthology if they go that route. Either way,
Yeah.
someone in my comments said, no, that's not what John Carpenter wants. Look, I'm just giving an opinion. I don't know because I haven't talked to John Carpenter.
Exactly.
I'm
Right.
sure most of us haven't, but
Yeah.
I do know what he has said in
Mm-hmm.
interviews, and I know that he always thought of Michael Myers as simply an unexplained evil. He didn't say he was, you know,
Yeah.
a, a supernatural. He didn't say he was human. He just said he's evil.
He's
He
evil.
didn't
Yeah.
he didn't give any explanation. So we literally could get to back to the point where there's no explanation. It could be more of a psychological take that they
Sure.
have on Halloween movies. I
Uh
mean,
huh.
they could do a lot of cool things. So
Very much so. I think
yeah,
the potential's there. You could even change how the character is. I mean, we talked about having it as a woman, but like I say, I
yeah,
mean, we've never seen a Michael Myers that talks and interacts with people. It's
hmm,
just he never speaks,
yes,
And I think you could really change a lot of things, tweak it to make it new. And I love the anthology series idea. I really
yes,
love that, man.
yeah,
And you could have if you could have Michael Myers in it, you could have him not in it. Every
hmm,
other whatever. You could have a different person every year that gets
hmm,
the evil passed on to, kind of like Twilight Zone, but make it more like, you follow this one person in season one
yeah,
where the evil's in them, and then the
yes,
last episode of season one, it gets transferred, taken over somehow. Someone else, it goes to a new person, and that's
hmm,
season two's
yes,
antagonist,
yeah.
whatever,
That
and
could
you
be
follow
really
their
fun.
journey. You know what I mean? Like, so you're following the evil, not the actors, because it
Yes.
moves. It moves to more other people.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
that would be fun. Fun to
it could
watch.
be. It really could. Val was talking about the radio tower theories, some of the different angles of it, that it's a way to communicate to the town because they're afraid to go outside and the COVID thing, and so forth and so forth. That might be it. If that's, look, I'd rather see that than
Yeah.
having the tower controlling Michael Myers. We we
Yes.
we cannot be controlling Michael Myers. It just did not work in
Yeah.
Curse, and I
Mhm.
just don't, I can't see it working. I really can't.
No.
It takes away too much from him. I think that was a big issue I had with Michael Myers in Curse of Michael Myers and in Resurrection. It just seemed like he was just like just kind of there, just waiting on orders. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
man, this guy, I mean, in theory, and I know people might have issue with this, in theory, he's easily as scary as Jason or Freddy.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
Even
man.
if you take the movie's mythologies, let's just assume, Freddy could exist as a supernatural entity or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, Michael Myers as what he is, at least in the original, he's as scary as that to me. Because he could be
Yeah.
anyone. He could be the little kid next door that he just goes off.
Just goes off, man. 5 years
Yeah.
old,
Yep.
stabbing his sister to death. I mean, five, man.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yes.
5 years old, man.
Hmm.
It's dude. I mean, there's something at work in him,
Yep.
and it's not even like he was a teenager, or it was
Yeah. I know.
five. He was just a
Yes.
dude, preschooler basically, right?
That's
So
right.
yeah, it's there's something at work in there, and I think I just want to always not know. That's all for me. I
Yep.
just want to never really know what it is, and I just don't like you say, man. They tried it in six, which was just so silly. Watching them in this sacrificial room, and Doctor Wynn's got his coat on, his cape,
Yeah.
and they're all standing around, and Michael's just standing there on the side, like he's
Yeah.
waiting for his orders to be. And I'm like,
Yep.
that's not what
And
this is.
and he had a baby with his niece. Like people never talk about that
Oh, that's
either.
messed up,
Right?
dude.
I mean, I'm not
Yes.
trying to get, but I'm just saying it's like they were going down some wacky ass corridors in this movie. That's just my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. There
Yep.
is things, and if you guys want to see the episode where we did a review on it, there are some things that I enjoyed in the movie, namely Donald Pleasance and his final
Yeah.
his final role as Loomis.
Man.
They had some decent aspects in the movie, but overall, I just couldn't deal with it. Greg was saying that Michael turned on the Thorn cult though, so he wasn't controlled. What I'm saying is he shouldn't be controlled at all. There
Yeah.
shouldn't there shouldn't be
Yeah.
any. I don't want to know that however they explained it, every generation, a
Hmm.
child is picked to be
Yep.
the one and the
Yes.
runes and all that. I don't even want to have any of that. I really don't. It
No.
just yeah.
No. 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 None of that. All that's too much. And again, Donald Pleasance in that movie was really good, and
Yep.
I enjoyed Paul Rudd in that movie. I thought Paul
Yes.
Rudd did a good job in
Yep.
The Curse.
Yep.
And
I
yeah,
agree.
Maverick, it's so true, dude. Yeah,
Yes.
dude, she's way too young to be
Right?
involved in that stuff. That's
It's
for
like, what
sure.
the hell is going on with this movie? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
just
So,
that's.
anyways,
But yeah, no, I hear you. But yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh, and I just want it to be good night. I want this
I
movie
do.
to. Man, I want us to. You don't know how bad I desperately want us to talk on that really after we go watch it opening day,
Hmm.
and we'll have our lethal collective on this opening day like we did with Scream 5.
That's
And
right.
I want to be able to look at you or even call you beforehand and say, dude, how
Right?
about that? And you're like,
Yes.
yes, that's how you're
Yes.
supposed to end this. That's what I want to do so
Yeah.
bad. And I just don't know. I've got it. I'm being very guarded. Like I'm going in with high expectations, but I'm also preparing myself for a radio tower moment where
Yeah.
we've got King Kong or we've got I'll
Mm.
take King Kong over the actual remote control controlling Michael if I had to do one of
Yes.
those scenarios.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't want either one of those scenarios,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, me neither,
So
man.
I'm gonna go there. It is. Look at that thing, man. Oh my gosh. I'm I'm gonna go in there prepared for that right there,
Right.
but we'll be so pleasantly surprised if that's not a part of the situation. And
Yeah.
there were some rumblings a little while ago, and I'm sure you saw the picture. I posted it up of James Jude Courtney and
Hmm.
like the director of photography. They were on the bridge there.
Yep.
It's the final day of shooting. Remember that scene,
Hmm.
that image?
Yep.
And there's apparently rumors, and again, I don't like spoilers, so I don't investigate these leaks or anything else.
Yeah.
But and I don't think this is a spoiler because again, I don't know. But I just know. Have you heard rumors about how the bridge is going to play a major factor in this finale? Is what I've
Yeah.
heard.
I heard that too. Yep, I
Okay,
heard that
yeah.
too, and I kind of like, you know,
Yep,
like,
I hit the brakes.
yep.
Yep, that's all I need. Nothing more. Thank you. That's good. That's good because that could be a
Absolutely.
lot of things. That can mean a lot of
Yeah.
things. So I'm not. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh man, Miss Miss Carter
oh
saying
no.
I'm
What
trying to
the-
forget Michael and his niece incest story night. That's just nasty, right? That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that's what I'm
bad.
saying because people have literally, and again, I get it. Us as content creators, we put ourselves out there because when we talk about our thoughts or theories, any of you guys could just say you're effing nuts for
Hmm.
thinking that, or you're effing
Yep.
wrong for thinking that. Although, it'd be nice to have some sort of respect, mutual respect between us and viewers. But, you know, people have said with the Dreamcatcher theory, and I've also heard people with the radio tower theory
Hmm.
talk about it's ridiculous. It's the most outrageous thing
Yeah.
in the universe. And it's like, do you guys remember Curse of Michael Myers?
Hmm.
Do you guys remember that someone who could do like nickel and dime karate beat Michael Myers? We just saw Michael Myers beat half of the town of Haddonfield. And you're telling
Exactly.
me one guy who watched a couple episodes of Kung Fu on
Kung Fu.
TV
Yeah.
beat Michael Myers with it? I mean, come
Yeah.
on,
No way. Come
So
on,
this
man.
so these things, yeah, they are controversial. Yes, they are, out of left field in some respects. But these are not the worst things of all time, especially for this franchise. You
Nope.
know, that
Not
that,
at all,
that
man.
to me, yeah,
Not at all.
that's my big point. Greg was saying if the other sequels aren't canon, then why would the Dream Thing work? That would be goofy but interesting. I'd be okay with Dream Thing in David Gordon Grimm's timeline. Well, we talked about that a little bit
Yeah.
earlier.
We hit that
Yeah,
earlier. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we did.
It actually I won't rehash it, but yeah,
Yeah,
check the replay when this is done. We spent a little time on that subject,
yeah,
and it actually does make sense for it to work.
yeah,
So, but check it out when this is over, and
yep.
it's good. I think you'll enjoy the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a really good discussion. Well, let me ask you this, Stephen, as we
Yeah.
start to wind down in the next like 10 minutes. Um, okay. What do you think Allison's arc is going to be in Halloween Ends? Like, how do you think her
Mhm.
character will be after everything that we have seen in Halloween Kills? We don't really know too much else, but if you're just going off of Halloween Kills and the ending, we know what happened. How do you
Mhm.
think Allison will be as a character in Halloween Ends?
I think she's going to be full of anger,
Hmm.
bitterness, and vengeance on the mind. Is what I
Hmm.
think. I think that she is, yeah, right there. She is going
Yeah.
to be so determined
Hmm.
to avenge her mother's death, and I think that's what she's going to be driven. I think she's going to be so driven. I mean, even in that scene, whew, she
Whew.
was not scared, dude. She
She
was
wasn't, man.
fearless.
You know what? And I didn't play it, and I wanted to do it, but I've got a variation of my intro. I did an episode. I don't know now. Maybe it was like a month and a half ago with Strange Monkey, and well, you would have enjoyed it because obviously you've been
Oh,
talking about happy Halloween. So, anyways, I had that in it, but I also had a clip of that scene where Michael's about to kill Cameron, and
hmm,
Allison has that knife in her hand, and she's like, "Come and get me, mother!" And like
that's right.
she was a lioness. She really was.
Yes.
She was.
Yes, and I think that she's going to grow in from being that young lioness pup or whatever.
Hmm.
She's going to be a full-blown 4 years later now time gap,
Yes.
and I think she's going to be Laurie Strode of 2018.
Hmm.
That's
Yep.
what I think. I think it's going to
Yep.
be, and then I think what we'll find out is I think Laurie and Hawkins are going to be married. They're going to have healed up.
Hmm.
They're gonna, because there was already that bond between them in the hospital scenes,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
so I really believe they'll be married. And I think, Knight, that Laurie's gonna actually kind of have moved on to some degree.
Yep.
Like
I agree.
not that she's forgotten anything, as that was her daughter that was got
Hmm.
killed, but I believe after 4 years now, she's at a place where I can't live in that state of mind anymore. I have to
Right.
change it, or I will not survive. I'll go crazy.
Absolutely.
And so I think she's going to be much more of the calmer. We're not. I don't talk about him anymore. We
Yep.
don't think about him anymore. But then her granddaughter is going to be. She's going to see herself from 2018 in Allyson and her granddaughter.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
and I think you're right. What you said earlier, I think that the sacrificial death, that's why she's going to step in, because she doesn't want to see her granddaughter die like her daughter did.
That's right.
So she's going
It'll
to
be a
have
role
to.
reversal.
It'll be a total role reversal,
Yep.
and now she's going to have to step back into the old Laurie Strode
Yep.
and go into kick tail mode,
Hmm.
and in an effort to save Allison. And that's
Yeah.
why I think that all ties together. That's
Yeah.
my thought, man. That's what I
Yeah.
expect from Allison.
And that's totally, and I know we had talked about that on the collective too. I totally think that's what's going to happen because those seeds have been planted. And plus, it kind of has to go that way, right? Because we've seen Jamie Lee Curtis totally obsessed, 40 years of prepping and planning in the 2018 movie. In
Hmm.
Kills, she's healing from her wounds. At the end of Kills, she was talking about how she understands Michael better now. He's ascending. The fear
Yeah.
is giving him strength, and yada, 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 yada. Allison, I think that that's an easy arc to see happening. So basically, these two characters started here. You got
Hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Allison here in 2018 Halloween. And by the time we get to Kills, they're going to switch, and now Allison is the
Yes.
one who can't let go of the boogeyman, like she said to her grandmother in
That's
2018.
right.
But here's the other thing I think that is cool about it for us long-term fans. We will get to see Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm not saying she's going to be singing and dancing,
Yeah.
but she's going to heal a little bit. That's why we need the 4 years.
We needed time. Yep.
And we will see her as Laurie Strode that is going to be a lot more like this, more
Mm.
optimistic. She's going to have
Yes.
Hawkins. She's going to have some happiness. I don't know how much, but she's going to have some happiness. And she's going to be much more like we saw her in 78, a little bit more
Oh.
optimistic about life. And why
Yeah.
not? Because remember, this is Jamie Lee Curtis's last time as this
That's it.
character, right?
Yeah. This
So
is
you
it,
want,
man.
yeah, so you want to give her a lot of things to work with. She's going to
Hmm.
be healed to some degree. Then she's going to have to come to her granddaughter's rescue. She's going to have to come to terms with the shape. So that's going to give her a lot of material to work with. And of course, we know she can handle that because she's a fantastic actress. This is a swan song for Laurie Strode.
Yep.
This trilogy is
Yep.
a swan song. So it would make sense that now we're going to see her somewhat happy before the inevitable final battle with Michael Myers. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm seeing.
And it just adds to making it even more tragic, because you're going to see her having pulled herself away from what tormented her for 40 years,
Yes.
and she finally got to that good place, only to now have to end up going back and being killed by the very thing that she finally got peace from,
Yep.
which kind of adds that tragedy factor to her death and
Absolutely.
ends. And
Yep.
oh, what a great little picture that is. Look at
Isn't it
all,
though,
look at
man?
them, man.
It is, man. I mean,
Wow.
again, all things to the side, talk about theories and stuff. You just got to give this lady a hell of a lot of credit, man. 50 years almost, 5 different decades as this
Yeah.
character. And again, like I said, I think this is the last time we're going to see her as
Yep.
Laurie Strode.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, man. I'm going to be, whatever happens, I just want a good movie. I know she's going to
Yeah.
knock it out of the park. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh yeah.
guaranteed. I know I'm
Yep.
going to love whatever she does. But I'm going to be sad. I'm going
Me
to be
too.
sad. And we had an episode on the channel the other week where we did kind of a character, the brass tacks of Laurie Strode, where we talked about Laurie Strode's character over all these movies. And
Okay.
it was emotional. It was
Hmm.
emotional because, like I said, I've always loved Jamie Lee Curtis. To me, she is just, she can do no wrong, and this is the last time we're going to see her. So again, let's send her out in style as far as giving her a lot to work with as an actress.
Yes.
She deserves that.
Yep.
And like I said, and that's why to me the dream catcher theory is kind of cool too, because if she sacrifices herself for Allison, that
Hmm.
kind of makes sense. But if we go back with the dream catcher theory, she'll be free of Michael, she'll be young again, and she lives
Yeah.
on, in the movie world, in the
Oh,
movie universe. You know what I mean? She's
true.
free. So
She's
that's
free.
my
You're
that's my
right.
pitch. That's my pitch.
That is a benefit of the dream theory that I wasn't even thinking about. but it's her being able to go on and fresh start basically once she
Yeah.
gets over that, in the hospital or what have you.
Yep. Yep.
And she will live. Yeah, she's 19 again, whatever, high
Hmm.
school,
Yeah.
not even high teen.
She's got her
Yeah,
whole life ahead of her, and
yeah,
what if, and again, this is just coming to my head. I know we're about to get off of here, but
yeah.
it's a dream. She wakes up, what if they have a scene? We know they can recreate Dr. Loomis, and it's
Oh
respectfully
yeah,
done. So
very much.
what if there's a scene when she's leaving the hospital and he says something to the effect of, are you going to be okay? And she's like, yeah, and she's kind of walking down that sidewalk and she starts singing that song that she sang back in 78, um,
Mm.
I wish I had you all alone.
Oh
Da, 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 da,
yeah,
da. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look,
yeah.
I know it's nostalgia. People are like, all right, Night, come on. I can't help it, man. Halloween is one of my favorite movies of
It's
all
all right.
time. But what if it could end like that, guys? I mean,
Wow.
again, it's controversial, but there's a huge part of me that would be so okay with that because Laurie Strode is okay forever,
Yes,
forever.
forever. That's it, man.
You know what I'm saying? And I
And
can
you can,
still enjoy those other movies. I can still watch them
yeah.
and enjoy them. They're still there. I still got the
Hmm.
DVDs and the Blu-rays.
That's
So
right. And you could even shoot that scene because obviously there was it would require a lot of makeup, de-aging
yes.
software. But to make it more believable or less cringy, you
Hmm.
could have that shot of her from behind where
Yes.
she's running down the sidewalk, but you see the back. Her hair can be
Yes.
anything. It can be like there you go. So we
Yep.
wouldn't have to see her face.
Yep.
And we're like in that same clothes on or similar clothes, like it's
Yes.
that same period of time,
Yep.
and that's how it ends. And
Yes.
that actually would be really nice to see her not suffer all of the things that she
That's
suffered
right.
through, man.
That's right. Because
Wow.
I sure as hell, listen, like I said, I sure as hell don't want to see Allyson die. And can you imagine that?
No.
Laurie's sister, I'm sorry, Laurie's daughter, her
Man.
son-in-law, and her granddaughter die. So
Oh,
Allyson can't die. We can't
no.
have that, right?
That's just
So
too much.
so everything is pointing to Laurie dying.
Hmm.
Everything is pointing to Laurie dying.
Yep.
And I'm selfish, but I don't want her to die. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't either,
I don't.
buddy.
So like I said, guys, I know it's nostalgia and all
Mm.
that, and maybe I'm getting all mushy, but just think of it. If they could execute this dream thing the right way, she's walking out of the hospital and she's singing that little song and it fades. And of course, Michael's not watching her like this.
I was
Because I
gonna
don't
say,
want to
don't
leave that
know.
open.
Oh
Michael is
no.
Michael is out and about. We don't know where he is. He's just he survived that night, and him and Laurie have no more connection. But she's just walking down like that, singing that song, and they fade to
Yeah.
black, and then all of a sudden you hear bum 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 bum, Mr.
Oh.
Sandman,
Yes.
bring me a dream, and then
Boom,
it's
boom,
over.
boom. It's over. I love it.
I'm just saying.
You're
I'm
starting
just
to win
saying.
me over here, Knight. If you keep on going down this route, you're going to get me. You're going to start pulling me into this thumbs up side. I'm right now. I'm still like teetering like this,
Right.
but now I'm
Yeah.
more like half. I'm like three quarters, dude.
Yeah. Val likes it. I like that ending night. Thanks, Val.
I
I
do too.
appreciate that.
That
And,
is a
and
great
again,
ending.
yeah, and again, I'm not saying that that's the right way. I'm just throwing it out there as an idea. And again, I know it's nostalgia and all that, but
Sure.
nostalgia doesn't bother me personally
Me either. That's
if
what I'm
it's done
saying.
right. If it's done right.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We don't want to just
Yeah.
tacky with it, but
Yes.
I would have no problem with well executed nostalgia, man. I will drink that up all day long because it just makes you. Well, can I give you an example? A non horror movie.
Sure.
Now, there's been like from what I can tell, like 20 trailers released because this movie's been pushed back for like 2 years now.
Hmm.
But I only watched the teaser when it first came out. 30, no, it's not 30 seconds. It's like a minute, whatever it is. The very, very first teaser trailer for Top Gun Maverick is
Mm.
coming out next month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let me tell you something about nostalgia. They were brilliant in in the teaser trailer.
Yes.
Again, I purposely have not watched any since because I
Hmm.
don't want to know any more about the movie.
Right.
And but in this trailer, whenever and the epic music from Top Gun, the
Oh
original,
yeah.
the
Hmm.
epic theme song with Harold
Hmm.
Faltermeyer and
Yep.
Chris and Steve Stevens,
Yep.
and there's like a gong sound, bong. You know what I'm talking about? That
Boom.
big,
Yep.
dude. It's like the first thing you hear on that trailer is bong. That that
Yep.
that gong. And from that moment, I was like, oh man, all of my attention was focused. And then the little things with the motorcycle, the jacket,
Yeah,
the
the jacket.
sunglasses,
Yep.
you know, and then you finally hear with a huge orchestra the
Mm-hmm.
dun, 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 dun,
Yep.
dun, dun, dun. But it's slower and it's with a
Yes.
full score of orchestra instead of just guitar.
Yep. Yeah, it was
I'm going
very
to tell you
cool.
something, man. Look, I'm going to be very transparent. I always am. I wear my emotion on my sleeve, just like you, Knight. We talk about that
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Yep.
That was a very special movie to me, and I'm way off. It's nothing
That's
to do with
okay.
horror movies. Top Gun, it was like a very special movie, and when I was a kid. Okay, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, 12 maybe 11, 12. I watched that movie. I loved the movie so much. I was infatuated with the Air Force and fighter pilots and stuff before I watched Top Gun. So when that
Yeah.
movie came out, it was like almost like here's Christmas morning every time. So my mom used to love that movie. She would watch it, and when it came on VHS back then, that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
In 86, 87, when you get a VHS, VCR, we would watch that thing together. And I want you to know, we watched it probably 50, 60 times with my mom and I. When I watched
Wow.
that trailer night, the first time, actually the first 5 times I watched that teaser,
Mm-hmm.
when I heard the first orchestra hit with that theme song,
Mm-hmm.
it took me back. I welled up. I welled up. Tears were flowing down my face
Mm-hmm.
because in that very moment, it felt like I was with my mom.
Right.
You know, I
I
was
know what you
with
mean.
her. I swear, I'm even kidding me now. I swear, if I looked over to the left, she
Yep.
was going to be sitting there,
Yeah.
and I can't. And that's the power of cinema, man.
Absolutely.
That's the power of this medium of how you can affect emotions and you can affect people's complete attitudes and
Mm-hmm.
frames of mind and perspective in
That's right.
film. With it's powerful.
It
So
is.
I'm not quite sure why I went down that rabbit hole, but anyway, hopefully
Well,
it
just
wasn't too boring
connections.
for you.
Well, no,
It
no,
was.
connections to these movies, especially
It
when you have a
is.
long-standing connection to it. It definitely can be an emotional thing, and just like
Yeah.
this whole nostalgia
Oh,
ending,
that's what it was.
I think it would just be a nice way to put a ribbon on it. As
Yeah.
far as for Laurie Strode,
Yeah, man.
she's free. She's free to live her life and do whatever she does. So, but
Yep.
anyways, man, this has been a hell of a lot of fun.
It
Um,
has. Loved it.
you know how this is. We could go on for a long time,
Oh,
and
easy.
and to be quite honest, I'd love to do this again. When we get a
Yeah.
chance, because this is just great. Just having a discussion about it, and we had some new angles that both of us kind of saw in this, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's the magic of this.
It
In
is.
discussing it, and also for folks in the chat, chiming in and
Yeah.
giving ideas too. So
I mean, you've
yeah.
honestly, this conversation has inspired me to think about, I might make a new video tonight based on some of the stuff we've talked about. Because I've already done the dream thing, but I haven't
Hmm.
done a video on the Michael Myers view.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. And
Yep.
there's a lot of stuff tonight that was interesting that we talked about that was new and
Yes.
fresh. So
Absolutely,
anyway,
man.
yeah, this is great stuff. It's been so much fun, man.
Yeah, man. And thanks so much, HR. We
Thank you,
appreciate that.
HR. Yeah.
But anyways, guys, please give the video a like. That would help support the channel, and it supports the channel more than you know. And please
Yes.
leave a comment. Let us know what you think about some of the things we talked about. What do you like? What don't you like? We can take it. Just be respectful. Which all of you guys that are here have been. So thank you so much.
Yep.
And of course, for you guys, most of you guys know Steven, but I've got his link in the description. So for some
Oh,
of you guys that
thank
may
you.
not know or watching this on replay, check out my buddy Craven Something Scary. Wonderful content creator, but an even better human being. So check
Oh,
him out.
night. Thank you,
And
buddy.
absolutely. So we hope to do this again at some point soon. And we're hoping that you guys enjoyed this. So, anyways, we will catch you guys later. I'm going to be heading over to Slasher Movie Club in a minute. So
Woohoo!
if you guys want to jump over there, me and Coriander will be going down some really cool territory. We'll see.
Ooh,
So
awesome. Can't wait.
none at all. But anyways, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Good night.